thank Mary for that very nice introduction, and Mary for coming and getting this rolling. This is just wonderful, and your reception is just grand. Thank you very much.
You want to sit down? Okay.
Before I get started, I want to introduce a couple very important people that came with me. My wife, Carol, is over here. Granddaughter with us. She's a senior at Texas A&M, and she's standing over here. So it certainly sounds like the revolution is alive and well. And can you imagine? I imagine you're just so surprised when the media says we've disappeared.
Yeah. Talk about you.
They're not only going to hear from us tonight, they're going to hear from us for a long time.
No matter what.
A revolution is not a one-day occurrence. A revolution takes time, and it will last a long time, and it will change a country, and that is what we're getting ready to do. They claim a revolution isn't ever shown on TV, and I can imagine that. But many who are involved are in denial, or they don't understand what's going on. But believe me, the ideas are important. This campaign is very important because it's driven by ideas, and to prove the ideas are correct and popular, the best way to do that is to win an election. We're doing quite well, and the process is proceeding, and we're going to do well here in Rhode Island, right? It's wonderful because, you know, the message that we have is not brand new, it's not strange, it's not complicated. It's based on a lot of good common sense as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, we don't have any common sense in this country.
To summarize it, it merely means that we want to restore liberty to America. America one time was known for its liberty, but in the last 100 years we've drifted a long way, and now we're suffering the consequences. Even though many recognize this, even back in the progressive era with the Woodrow Wilsons and the other, and you know, 1913, a bad year, 16 bad year. And then the Federal Reserve Act. We lived along for a long time because we were so wealthy and we had so many natural resources that we didn't kill the golden goose overnight. But I tell you what, the golden goose is on its last legs right now unless we do something about it. And that's why I think we're getting the enthusiasm, because there is something we can do about it. And it's not something brand new. How about just sending only people to Washington who read the Constitution, understood it, and obey it? What would happen on the war issue? You mean we couldn't go to war without a declaration? There wouldn't have been a war since World War II? Oh, how tragic that would be! No more wars without a declaration. Get our
bring them home! Bring them home!
There was a time where they used to paint the label that if you didn't vote for the wars and all the expenditures, you didn't like the troops, you're un-American, you're unpatriotic. But that's true. Why do we get the most support from the troops?
Yeah!
And very simply, we need to follow Article 1, Section 8, dealing with war. You don't go to war unless because the people have it declared through their representatives in government, and we deny the authority to the president to go to war on his own. But what about the arrogance of the president that will come down and the Secretary of Defense and say, oh, we don't need to go to Congress to get our marching orders. We can go to they can go to the United Nations. Well,
Impeach him! Impeach him!
This week, there's still been a foreign policy going on. Our president was down in Colombia. I didn't know exactly what was going on, but you know I declined to have the Secret Service protect me.
They're busy anyway.
Comment on the media diplomatic efforts around the world with our president. But, you know, it's irresistible because our president went down there to represent us. And the first issue that came up is, Mr. President of the United States, could we have a discussion and maybe a more open dialogue with Cuba? Isn't the Cold War over?
No!
He said, no way, we can't do that, we got to be tough on Cuba. I say, let's trade with Cuba, let's go with Cuba, let's travel with Cuba. Why not then? That would undermine that system. When you trade and talk to people and travel,
that makes too much sense.
Not sanctioned.
Yeah! These assholes wake up.
There are now many people in Central America, in Mexico, in South America, as well as in this country, that are come around to a very different position on the drug war.
Yeah!
So this subject came up in the position of the other governments, and that maybe we ought to discuss it. Maybe we ought to change these drug laws. Yes, I think we should discuss it. I think we should come to the same conclusion that we did after we tried prohibition of alcohol when it failed to repeal
legalize it. Yeah! Legalize it!
The drug issue is a very important issue. Drugs are very dangerous. But what isn't dangerous? Driving cars is dangerous, and there's all kinds of things. But who's responsible to protect you against danger? You're supposed to be.
I thought that was the government's job.
It's a big fallacy if you believe the government can protect us against ourselves. That is giving up all your liberty. The government owns you if they think they can protect you against all your own personal actions.
Yeah! When will we understand this?
But whether it's fire, whether it's drugs or fire crossing the street, children are taught, parents are the best teacher, to assume that all this is to be done by the nanny state from the federal government writing regulations. It's a fallacy. All they do is write a lot of laws, cause a lot of mischief, spend a lot of money, and bureaucrats make all the money, and then they arrest people for doing things that has harmed nobody whatsoever. We have 5% of the population of the world. We have 25% of the prisoners.
Yeah.
Many of them. Some estimate well over half are nonviolent prisoners. So I would say that the American people aren't bad people compared to the rest of the world. I would say we have too many laws is the problem.
Yeah! Let them out of jail!
This very year on January 1st, there were 40,000 new laws passed on January 1st.
That's all?
What I would like to suggest to you, as president, I would like to be the first president ever to repeal 40,000. On some occasions we have to get the permission of the Congress, but those laws that were passed by executive order are all illegal. I don't believe
Every damn one of them.
Legislating through the executive order, but I do believe if they're illegal executive order, a president can repeal those executive orders. Start with the most recent one that's about two weeks ago. The president renewed the Defense Production Act, which has been around since 1950, which is emergency powers for a president in time of war can socialize everything, take control of all finances of all. And that has been renewed pretty regularly. But this year, it was renewed by the president writing an executive order, but he made a few little changes. He said, yes, in time of war, but he added in times of peace also. So also he wrote an executive order and said that it is now permissible and the law of the land according to him that he, as president, can decide if he needs to go out and assassinate an American citizen.
Yeah.
It's been used now a couple of times. You said, well, just a couple of times, probably bad people. But the law is written for bad people, too, because if bad people don't get a trial, we won't get a trial either. For this reason, when the big debate came up about Obama talking about the courts and instructing the courts about Obamacare, and there was a lot of concern about that, but I think it was blown out of proportion. Obviously, he deserved that criticism, but what about him becoming the prosecutor, the judge, and the jury, and the executioner? Isn't that a bit of a violation of the judicial system? So there are so many places that we need to check. But, you know, Congress is supposed to resist this when the president usurps his powers, but our Congress last year, over my strong objection, they passed the National Defense Authorization Act.
Usurper!
Virtually repeals posse comitatus, keeping the military out of the business of policing us day to day. But now it is the law of the land that American citizens can be arrested. Now that's bad enough. But an American citizen can be arrested and put in a secret prison and never see a juror and never see an attorney and be held indefinitely. That's the law of the land. If we want to live in a republic, we have to repeal those laws, and we have to get a president who will use the executive order to get rid of that type of This very week, the Supreme Court ruled on a bill about strip searches. 5-4 ruling and said the police or federal agents, the TSA or whomever, are allowed to strip search anybody without probable cause of anything. So it has gone too far, way too far. I think another bill that we ought to repeal that's been on the books just 12 years, and that is the Patriot Act.
Yeah!